Welcome to Hops News, the trusted source in beer culture news. Here's your host, Jay Brew, with special guests, the Hoppy Mommy, Lucky, and Nash.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Hoppy Hour. Man, you guys are in for a treat again tonight. Let's talk a little bit about who we've got coming on. We're going to start out with Boise Brewing here in just a second. Talk about the phenomenal liquid that they're producing and a great organization that they support out there in Boise, Idaho. Then we're going to we'll also talk to Hop Heroes, a podcast that combines superheroes and beer.
My favorite.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but that's a that's a pretty good combination there. And then we'll also obviously do the bomber jacket giveaway, and we'll even have one of our Hops News family members on join us for this episode for a short conversation. I think he's out in the woods somewhere, but we'll get him in here and talk to him for a little bit. It'll be good to hear from Jeff. We'll also do, obviously, beer school like we always do, and then we'll talk a little bit of Hops News and round things out with giving that bomber jacket away. But before we go any further, let's go around the nation and check in with the other guys on the crew and ladies and see what they're up to. Let's go out to Mash. Mash.
Heavy hitter, always starting with the best. What can I say? I'm drinking a little good juicy IPA from our guest, Boise Brewing. You can see that fancy little can there. Got in my little cup even. I'm showing out. Really good stuff. Yeah, it's been a long week. I've been holding off the beers until now. I could not wait any longer, so this came at the perfect time. How would you choose? What are you guys drinking out there?
Mash, how's the weather out there in Idaho treating you? What's your weather situation? I know you had a little bit of a surprise this morning when you woke up with no internet. How's things going for you now?
I'm telling you, man, it was like the primitive world. I forgot what it was like. I go to turn on Netflix and stuff. I'm like, what is this? Oh my God. Had to watch cable. Ugh. Anyway, the weather, though, the weather's not bad. It was like 70s, I spent all day gardening. Me versus the weeds. If you guys know anything about me, I'm just really fighting weeds lately, and that's just the battle. Matt versus the weeds, and it's never going to end, I feel like.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, well, I'm glad you were able to get the internet back up and join us this evening. And who pays for cable anymore? I mean, if you're not
It's all about
streaming,
the Paw Patrol, okay?
Lucky.
I got small kids.
You can watch
need the Paw Patrol.
Lucky.
Watch Paw Patrol on YouTube. You don't need cable.
Yeah.
I can't
Paw
watch
Patrol.
Paw Patrol on YouTube when the internet goes out, and I have it for sports.
Let's go check in with Lucky out there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Lucky, you got cable? You watching cable tonight?
Of course not. Absolutely not. I'm
1930.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even think my parents have cable. Nobody I know has cable. Maybe when sports come back, I might get it dialed up, but probably not. I mean, everything is cord cutting, and I've got a PlayStation, so I'll probably do like the PlayStation View or whatever. It seems like it's got everything. But yeah, it's good here. It is hot. It's 80 degrees. It's gorgeous. Not used to it. So I'm not trying to like flex the guns or anything. I don't have any. This is
80
like,
degrees. My sleeves
strictly-
fell off.
Yeah. It's just functional here. It's just all about functionality.
Yeah, I see that sun shining in good up there tonight, Lucky. You're enjoying that weather. Surprised you're not
Yeah,
joining us
so
from
I
outside.
What was that?
Surprised you're not joining us from outside.
Oh, I wish, man. If I had internet access outside, I mean, I've got good internet. If I had good internet access, I would be for sure. But so I'm sipping on Naked Threesome right now, from a brewery in Waukesha called Raised Grain. One of my favorites. It's my first Naked Threesome of the night, so.
Probably won't be your
Somebody get
last.
this man its
Someone
OnlyFans
laughed.
account.
Yeah, it probably will not be his last. Let's give him a round of applause for that one. Yeah,
Was
we.
there a closed threesome as well?
I mean,
They leave their socks on.
Yeah.
beggars can't be choosers. That's
Speaking of socks, let's go down and check in with a Hoppy Mommy. How's it going down in Florida? How's it going down in Florida this evening?
It's been a little rainy today, but it's been gorgeous this week. You know, the end of May, beginning of June was thunderstorms every day, but it's been lovely. I've made it out to the beach quite a few times this week. But I am almost finished with my Dark Night. It's a black IPA from Departed Souls Brewing in New Jersey. And so it's just about gone, and then I'm going to be opening up a Boise Brewing IPA with mash. I actually brought that one to the beach yesterday to take pictures for promo, and it was very hard to not open it and drink it. So I am looking forward to that being on deck.
Yeah, we've noticed you've been at the beach lately because those promos have been outstanding. I don't think there's anybody that posts better promos than always being at the beach and Hoppy Mommy down there. She does a pretty good job with that. And she's definitely been enjoying the weather.
Yeah, you can't take a bad picture at the beach. It's impossible.
That's it. All right, let's come back up here to my little home. I'm also enjoying the juicy IPA.
Sun's
from-
out, cruise out, baby.
Yes, sir. I'm enjoying the Sun Cruiser from Boise Brewing. And speaking of Boise Brewing, let's go check in with our caller and see if we have Josh on the line. Josh, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. We've
Yeah.
got you.
Perfect.
How's things out in Boise, Idaho this evening?
You know, this evening is beautiful. We had a couple of rainy days leading up to it, so it's been hard to get outside, but I think this is kind of the turnaround before we hit the 100-degree summer weather, so we're loving it.
I keep hearing this. Like, they keep saying, yeah, it's going to be 110 degrees soon. And I'm like, oh, I'm okay with that. It's going to be fine. But then I realize I'm probably not going to be okay with that at all.
Well, the hard part is going from mid-50s and low 60s, then a couple weeks later to 110, so
Oh,
it's
God.
just the transition.
Yeah,
Just so
I
everybody
am not looking
knows,
forward
we're
to
down
that.
there on the Hoppy Mommy pouring that Sun Cruiser. I couldn't help but take us down there because she poured that perfectly for the viewers. What's your first impressions there, Hoppy? Tell us what you think.
It smells amazing. I haven't even tasted it yet, and it smells awesome.
Well, you should try it
That's
out.
very
It tastes even
good,
better.
very crushable. I could drink that all day. Oh, wow, it's only 4.5. That's hard to find a good IPA that's such low ABV. That's awesome.
Wow, that's a 4.5 beer. I never even realized that. I'd have started crushing on that thing a little sooner if I'd have realized that. That's awesome.
So I put it in the proper glass. I can do this all day.
Yep. So, Josh, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started in the beer industry, and then we'll work our way into Boise Brewing itself. But we always like to hear kind of how you get started and how our callers come up in the beer industry.
Yeah, so I do, for Boise Brewing, I do marketing and graphic design. I started out, I was in Salt Lake City, Utah, and just kind of got into craft beer and everything it provides. Was on a very different career path, and I decided to kind of drop that. I took everything I had, threw it in my little VW Passat, and I lived on the road for about a month and a half, 2 months, traveling up through Pacific Northwest, then Eugene, Corvallis, Portland, Seattle, kind of the big ones, looking for a job in the beer industry, and then ended up landing just a basic bartender gig with a place here in town, and then kept trying to work my way up into something a little more. And Boise Brewing took a gamble on me and gave me the marketing director position. And since then, it's been 2 years, and it's been fantastic. I loved every second of it. A lot of learning. And my background is by no means in marketing, but I knew enough about beer and was willing to learn about everything else. So I guess my passion is what drove me. So here we are.
So how does one get up in the marketing for a brewery then? Because I'm looking at my degrees in marketing, and that's something that's really interesting to me. How do you just kind of get in the foot in the door? Is it just bartending through different places, or how does that work?
Yeah, so for me, marketing specifically, I honestly probably having a degree helps, but I just worked the experience angle. So I was a bartender for just shy of a year, and then was promoted to taproom manager via that position. And then I actually went over and was a cocktail bartender for a few months. And that was just kind of an interim, was just trying to get back into the beer scene with something that was provided a little more stability, I guess, a little more 9 to 5. And it was awesome. Yeah, bartending was great, but I did it all through college. And obviously after college for a little bit, and then I was just ready to get back to the Monday through Wednesday. I mean, you get your occasional weekends events and outside stuff, but for the most part, nice Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Get my weekends, get to go out and experience Boise, foothills, all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Boise Brewing. Is that the first brewery you worked for? Or is this kind of down the chain? Where does Boise fit into your progression there?
Yeah, so I did. I worked kind of just a very short stint at a place in Seattle, Urban Brewing. Honestly, haven't looked in. I don't even know if they're still a brewery, but did a very short stint there. And then got just a bartender job at Powerhouse Brewing in Idaho, and then went from
they're really
Powerhouse
good.
to Boise Brewing. Yeah, they're awesome. They're doing good stuff down there. It's fun to watch everybody grow.
Now, when I looked into Boise Brewing, one of the things I thought was so interesting is it's like community owned, so anybody can invest in the brewery. That's pretty cool. So how exactly does that work?
Yeah, so we're actually in the middle of we call it a public offering right now. So you can just go to our website if you want to check it out. You can do all the paperwork and stuff right there. The big kicker, I know we got some folks from across the country here, is you do have to be an Idaho resident. But other than that, there is, few restrictions, but for the most part, it's minimum investment of $1,000 and you get to own a brewery.
That's something I've been toying with myself. I can't get the wife on board yet, but hopefully she's see this and it's like, you know what, that sounds like not such a bad idea.
Well, if you want the number,
you just got your beer fridge. You got
yeah. If you want the number,
just fought the battle for a beer fridge. Next is to part own a brewery.
Yeah,
it's a really big jump.
I told you it is Father's Day. This weekend is about me.
There you go. Well, you get it's every month you get a free growler fill, and we did the math, and if you do that minimum investment, after just around 4 years, you have paid for it. So, I mean, it's basically like an investment in your beer drinking future.
Oh hell yeah! Look, see if you just play it off like that, it's a good idea. Look, I'm
it's
getting
like free money.
future right now.
Yeah. Exactly. And we went through, so you get a mug on the wall too. You get your own custom mug with your name and everything, kind of like a mug club. And every time you go in, you pull it off the wall, and we did a measurement, and the average size is around 20 ounces. So you pay pint price for your 20-ounce mug. So I'm just saying, we've done the math, and it makes sense.
I'm sold, but I'm not an Idaho resident.
Let's pull together with me. The three of them are going to pull together with me, and we're going to co-own under my name.
Yeah, we're
That
not
would work,
Idaho
yeah.
residents.
I'm not going to ask where the money comes from. So you just got to go through the state with that. Yeah.
Not that important.
So, Josh, tell us a little bit about how the brewery works with the community up there. Some of the organizations you work with. We're obviously featuring Add the Words Idaho tonight. So tell us a little bit about that as well. And the viewers, if you're out there, if you're not on our Facebook page, come to our Facebook page. We have the link there in the chat where you can go and donate. A little bit different from previous weeks, but we hope that you make the effort that it takes to get there tonight and drop some change in that tip jar for us, because that is what it's all about. That's why we're here. That's why we come back every week to help bring awareness to breweries and organizations like this that are out there making an impact in people's lives on a daily basis. Josh, tell us a little bit about the workings within community organizations like that for Boise Brewing, and also what Add the Words Idaho, what that relationship is about.
Yeah, absolutely. So we, before coronavirus kind of hit the country, we actually were partnering with one nonprofit, local nonprofit, a month. And we had a special tap handle where $1 of every pint poured went to that organization. We just wrote them a check. So it's part of being, we call it our community supported beer. So, the community gave us the brewery and they help us, with everything. And so that's kind of our way of giving back. With Add the Words, especially, Pride Month and everything happening right now, basically Add the Words is really cool because I think what it does is it brings about just a long, lasting change. I know it's easy to support and every organization brings about a lot of change. I'm not trying to say that, but what the cool thing I think about Add the Words is that it is about updating the Human Rights Act in Idaho. So it's about actually changing legislation for basically to protect all Idahoans, no matter, race, gender, and everything in between. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
and that is definitely, in our current times, obviously on the front burner of the topics and daily news. So great organization, great causes. We definitely appreciate that work that you are doing. Looks like we dropped Hoppy there too. So tell us a little bit more about what kind of events you guys host there at the brewery and what it is that you guys do to bring that sort of awareness. Welcome back, Hoppy. Glad you could join us.
Sorry, I meant to mute.
Hey, don't fuck with the buttons.
Again. I asked my daughter to get me a sharp knife to cut the wax on my beer, and she looked at me like, "What?" So I was muting it. So I need a sharp
God, there's blood everywhere.
That's awesome.
make sure you run back and forth to get it too,
Pointy side.
right? She's older. She's 16, so I'm not asking a 5-year-old to bring me a really sharp knife.
All right. Well, so to answer the question, let's see. Well, so for awareness, like I said, before coronavirus, we would do an event once a month with the organization, whether we went out and volunteered at their location, if they had a location, or if they had something going on, or we brought them into the brewery and just had them. We would do a movie night. If, the organization had something specific that they did, we would incorporate that into whatever the event was. And just kind of beginning of the month, kind of boost, kind of kickstart everything, get some awareness. And then after that, it was just, like I said, rest of the month. So with it's been tough. we're trying to reintroduce. This is a really good opportunity to bring in Add the Word for this month specifically. So we're just happy to kind of get back into a little bit of a rhythm. Like I said, before everything was going on, we were cruising. We were really excited. We're still moving forward, but we're rethinking the way we do things, which has been interesting. Yeah,
Are you guys still? You guys were doing like beer deliveries. Were you guys in on that as well, right? Beer deliveries, like curbside pickup, things like that. I know a lot of breweries around here were doing that. Is that something you guys are still trying to continue after this? Since we've pretty much gone back to normal now, I saw you guys have opened up your patio seating, things like that. What's that looking like in the future?
Yeah, so I mean, right now we're still kind of keeping an eye on everything, a close eye. As far as deliveries, we pulled that back. It was working well, but folks are coming in. Our pickup is definitely up and running. We are doing online pickup orders, to-go orders, stuff like that. That seems to actually work really well. And we've got a system in place, so we're like, might as well use this, you know? And then,
sure.
Yeah, so, and then our tap room is open. We're being really cautious. We are taking a few extra steps just to make sure that our patrons and our employees are staying as healthy as possible. It's things like you can order from your phone, or we're doing like touchless ordering if you want. Everything is being sanitized between people. Wait to be seated, social distancing for everything. We're going a few extra precautions just because we kind of expected, and we saw it last weekend where a couple of places closed down again because they had employees or folks that came in with COVID-19, and so they had to shut things down, get folks tested, reevaluate. So we're trying to err on the side of caution there.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those things where it's slippery slope. One little misstep or one little, anything could really set things back. So it's good to see that you guys were trucking along and still trucking strong.
Yeah, and not even the missteps. It's if it happens, it happens. But we would just, like I said, we're trying to keep everybody as safe as we can for as long as we can. So hopefully we kind of get in the rhythm here, and just hopefully that we can find a vaccine or something soon. I don't know. New normal is obviously a common phrase we're hearing, and we're just we're trying
whatever
to figure it out. It's just like everybody else.
As long as the beer's flowing,
exactly.
That's what's important.
In South Africa, they were actually on full-on prohibition when they were quarantined. They couldn't even go out because they didn't want people going out unless they absolutely had to. And apparently, Well, it was funny when I was researching hops. I looked at, I was looking at breweries with the South African hops, and they had the Prohibition Ends at Last pictures from America on their brewery pages when they were finally they weren't allowed to buy alcohol until like a week ago or something.
Jeez.
Oh wow.
I can't even imagine
what
everyone who definitely isn't working from home drinking, getting through quarantine, definitely not drinking while working from home.
How'd they make it through homeschooling? I want to know how the hell they made it through homeschooling without alcohol. Somebody needs to do a research project on that because they're an anomaly.
I think they were trying to brew their own stuff, and it was, I learned myself trying to brew my own beer. It was god awful. It was poison, so I don't think it went well. But that could be a future homeschool.
Poison, but I'm still getting.
Yeah, some prison hooch.
Right.
I like that. I like that.
Little toilet wine.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Josh, what's that's obviously a great organization, Add the Words Idaho, for everybody joining in. Like I said, we don't have the donate button set up tonight, and we definitely apologize for that. But please don't let that stop you from giving. It is a great organization, definitely on the front burner of today's issues in the society. So definitely take a few minutes, hit that link up, go donate some money to them, and fill that tip jar up because they definitely could use it. And if you go to their website, you'll see that some of the big news to come out of the Supreme Court today is a direct reflection of what they do and what they spend their resources on. So go hit up that organization, drop some money in that tip bucket for us. Drop them a note. Let them know you heard from them here on Hops News. We would definitely appreciate it. And before we get to the bomber jacket,
words.org. That's the website. If you can't get to Facebook, addthewords.org.
Yep,
Right, and the
addthewords.org.
Supreme Court opinion absolutely benefits, but it's only for employment discrimination, and there's so much more discrimination that has to be dealt with in so many other areas. So their fight's not done.
Yeah.
Nope.
Absolutely, yeah.
Definitely a lot of work to do. Tonight's bomber jacket giveaway, we haven't talked about it yet, and I need to mention it, is going to be given to somebody that subscribes to our YouTube channel today. So during the episode, live episode, go subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have to, use your spouse's account, create an account for your daughter, your son. I don't care if you go create Gmail accounts and put your real name in there. Go create an account and go subscribe. I mean, you could use your real name on 12 accounts if you want to. Just go subscribe to the channel.
Doesn't matter how you do it. Help us, spread the word. And
YouTube's got some funny things. We're trying to, and obviously we're a long ways from any monetization of our YouTube account. You've got to get to 100 subscribers just to be able to create a custom URL, and that's what we're headed for. I think the last check prior to coming out, and we were at 48, so we're almost halfway there.
I just subscribed, so you're at 49.
Awesome. Well, we definitely. Hey, if our caller can do it, if our caller can do it while he's on the phone, you can definitely create a half dozen accounts before the end of the episode. So go subscribe and be entered for that bomber jacket. It's pretty easy, and we definitely appreciate it. Josh, what else do we need to know about Boise Brewing before we let you get back to the marketing of Boise Brewing out there in Idaho this evening?
I mean, great beer, great community. You've heard the community part, beer part. We've got 5 GABF medals in a row, at least one in the last 5 years. This year is obviously still to be determined. We've got a World Beer Cup medal. Yeah. The Sun Cruiser y'all are drinking got a North American Beer Award gold last year.
Nice.
Yeah. So that Beer Fest didn't happen this year. That award didn't happen this year, unfortunately, or is being postponed. Honestly, haven't heard much yet, but we've got the accolades. The beer is flowing real fast, and our head brewer Lance and our brewer Lindley are doing some pretty amazing things back there. So the beer is great, the vibe is great, the community's awesome. We're loving it. It's a great time to be a brewery, despite everything,
Yeah, that's
you guys
awesome.
are going to be at a beer festival this weekend too, I saw, right?
Our beer's going to be there, but we will not be sending any representatives. We're kind of running a skeleton crew still, and
don't worry, I got you.
Yeah,
I'll be there, shouting the names.
But the beer will be there. Don't worry.
I got you.
Yeah. Hey, that's pretty amazing. There's breweries that go a long time, and many breweries never win a single medal at GABF. To win 5, that's pretty impressive.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it's more than 5, but it's 5 years in a row we've at least come home with some hardware. So I'm
nice.
stoked. It makes my job a little easier,
Yeah, man. Yeah, all you have to do is take a picture of that medal every once in a while and put it on your social media. You're good to go.
Yeah, and you'll see them out there. Yeah, everybody can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and check it out. We're doing good stuff.
Awesome. Well, we definitely appreciate you joining us tonight, Jeff. Josh from Boise Brewing there in Boise, Idaho. We definitely appreciate you joining us, telling us a little bit about Boise Brewing and the work you do with Add the Words Idaho. Definitely a great organization. Matt just posted the link there in our chat again. Drop by that link, throw in the change, whatever it is that you want to donate. Please don't let the fact that we don't have that donate button set up tonight stop you from donating. You guys have come through at $100 a week so far at really small numbers right now. But every week our viewership increases, so please take the time, go drop some change off in there, because it's a great organization that deserves our support.
And actually, Matt, you had mentioned that Idaho is one of the states that's lagging in LGBTQ rights, right? Because people might be thinking, like, well, I'd rather donate to my state. Like, why should we donate to Idaho as opposed to,
I can get to that in a minute, but yeah, essentially they're a little further behind in the times in some areas here in Idaho. It's more spread out country. Boise's really progressive, but there are certainly some areas that could definitely improve. And that's what it's all about. They fight for the whole state, not just one town.
Yep. Well, we definitely appreciate you, Josh. Thanks for joining us tonight. And we do have one last question, and I never forget this. If the four of us were to walk into your tap room and belly up to your bar, what is the beer that you're going to pour for us?
It's going to be a beer that Nash is actually drinking right now. Better hazy than never.
Hell yeah, it's super good, super smooth.
Yeah,
that's how come we didn't get any.
See, I did. I helped out.
Mash, I expect that in the next box.
All right, yeah. I'll make sure he sends it to you.
It's coming out next box,
So tell us a little bit about that beer, Josh. What if you pour that for us? What are we going to experience? Is that one of your award winners?
So it's not an award winner yet, honestly, because we haven't entered it in anything. It is a hazy IPA, New England style IPA, and we called it better hazy than never because we weren't late to the trend. We were just kind of seeing if it was a trend or if it was going to stick around, right? So we kind of held off a little bit, and it seemed like it was there to stay. So we ran with it, and like I said, mad props to our brewers. It became quickly our best-selling beer. Probably like 6 months into the game, it surpassed our Hip Check IPA, which is our Northwest style. So
I have that in the fridge too.
There you go. You got all the good ones.
Skate one, yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Awesome.
That's awesome,
Thank
Josh.
you so
We
much.
definitely
Really
appreciate you joining us tonight, and we look forward to it. Grabbing Mash by the shoulder, the neck, the wrist, and getting some of that tasty beer down here. Not that this juicy IPA isn't tasty.
Oh,
That thing is phenomenal for a 4%er. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
I
a.
plan on stopping by their brewery tomorrow for some stickers to the old wall right here, so I'll have to grab some more.
Oh, there you go.
So this juicy IPA is like a tailgater. It's like a session lawnmower beer that's like a juicy IPA, which is phenomenal. I mean, you can't find.
You still get the hops.
Yeah,
Super smooth.
To find that, I would have never guessed that that's a 4.5% beer. So that's pretty amazing. We definitely,
Absolutely.
I could kill those things in a tailgate all morning long.
Does it get distributed outside of Idaho or just in that area? Just that
Drink
area?
local, baby.
Yeah, distribution is tough. We're in Ontario. We're in Jackson, technically. So we're in two surrounding states, but you can find us all over Idaho. Distribution is tough with our size, just because every can that comes out of the brewery, we basically have to reserve for Idaho spots until we get a bigger facility.
Okay.
So yeah. Which is one part of our public offering is if we can raise enough money or when we raise enough money, it's production facility so that the Northwest can grab a taste of the Boise life.
Nice.
There
Well,
you
I'll be
go.
your guys' dealer for now. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
down in
I'm
Florida.
spreading the word,
Yeah.
Spreading the word to all my
Bringing
friends
it.
back home in Massachusetts. I'm telling everybody. So
Mash
make
is
it
the
happen.
Idaho
Let's get these guys
pusher.
production on.
Yeah.
You all are missing out.
Mash is the Idaho pusher. We definitely appreciate that. But Josh, we're not going to tie up any more of your time because we talked to you all night long tonight. So
It's been great.
yeah, definitely thanks for joining us. We look forward to sampling some more of your products if we can get it out of Mash's fridge and sent legally, obviously. But definitely appreciate your time. Thanks for all the work that you do with Add the Words Idaho. That's a great organization to be a part of. So thank you again for your time, and we look forward to drinking some more of your guys' liquid.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me on and appreciate it. Cheers, everybody.
Yep. Cheers. Have a great
Have
night.
a good one.
You as well.
Man,
Another
So
great
just a-
caller.
Quick clear up. Ontario is in Oregon. It's a town that's right over the border in Oregon. They aren't quite in unless you did mean Ontario, Canada, but a lot of people come from Ontario,
was gonna
Oregon,
say,
and a lot of
that-
people actually go right across the border, Ontario, Oregon, to buy weed because it's not legal in Idaho. So if you're in Idaho and you need your fix, I guess just go to Ontario, Oregon.
Hey, and that's your weed
Good to
news and legalities for the evening by our very own Mash
20 next year.
in Idaho.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
promise you, I don't do it. Don't, if work comes to drug testing me tomorrow, you'll find nothing. Don't even bother.
Right.
I had a
But-
friend who her
Yeah,
job
so-
would do random drug testing, and she went to Colorado this was a few years ago before weed was legal here at all. And she went to Colorado, and the day she got back, she was randomly picked for a drug test.
Oh, absolutely. Every time I go
Wow.
anywhere on leave, that's the big joke in the military is you go on leave, when you get back, you're randomly selected for a drug test. There's my personal opinion is there's nothing random about it. But hey, we're surrounded by all states that make it legal. In Idaho, like I said, Idaho is still far behind as far as I'm not making it political by any means. Everyone has their beliefs and you can believe whatever you want. They just they aren't as open as, say, Massachusetts or these other states that are welcoming. So that's why we try to raise money and fight the legislative slide. So if you can go to addthewords.org, drop some money into their bucket. They really help in the state of Idaho as far as fighting for LGBTQ rights at the head level. In Washington, they travel. All your money goes straight to them and what they do. So go by that. If you can't get to Facebook, go to addthewords.org.
That's awesome.
Tell them Hops News and Boise Brewing sent you.
That's it.
Yes.
Let them know. Drop some change in that bucket and let them know we sent you. We're still at Mash because he was on a good ramble there and supporting that Add the Words Mash.
I've been drinking, so
what are you
get me drinking? I can
What are you
slam it
checking
all
in
night.
on out there? You still in that hazy out there?
Yeah. I'm still drinking out of my Hops News koozie that we got.
Man.
This thing's pretty sweet. If you don't have one for the camping season, the river season, you're missing out. This thing it's been keeping my drink nice and cold. I don't ever use a koozie either, but it has my name on it. So if it has my name on it, I'm feeling
You gotta
bougie as
use
it is.
Yeah, there's only one way to get that, and that's joining the family. And we'll talk about
That's
that
it.
here in a minute.
I have all the goods. We all have a lot of good breweries that we'll talk about here soon. But yeah, like I said, addthewords.org. Head there, drop some change in the bucket. It's something that, again, is very personal to me because I have a lot of friends in this community. So I will advocate, and that's the hill I'm going to die on tonight.
Good
Awesome.
for you. It's a good hill to die on.
Let's go check in with Lucky. I bet you he's popped a new one up there. Yep, he's getting ready to tip one up. What do you got there, Lucky?
He's got
This
the
is
Boise
still-
one.
This is still the juicy. This is still the
Oh,
juicy. I
you're-
just went and grabbed another one though. I've gone through this one a lot faster than I thought I would. I grabbed it thinking it was like an IPA.
I thought it was a lot
and
heavier.
also it's
myself.
or whatever, but I am. Yep. Yeah. So I've just gone straight through tonight to grab it. So I've got Woo Brew on deck. I don't think this has made it in anyone's care package, but this is what we got on next week with Mobcraft. Yeah, I thought that was going to be at the end of the show to kind of lead into next week, but
He's giving
I'm
away our
told you
secrets
this,
early.
so-
Surprise.
Yeah.
Next week we have Mobcraft.
I actually had
My
they're
fault.
next. Okay.
We have Mobcraft, Pyatt Brewing, and Bottle Share all on next week. That is a heavy hitting episode.
Wow.
You guys
Holy
are not
cow.
going to want to miss it. Believe me.
That's going to be an insane episode there. All right, let's go check in with Hoppy down there in Florida. I think she was breaking out a bottle opener. She's still... Oh,
I'm almost done.
what?
I got that bottle open, goddamn.
No, so I meant to take the wax off the bottle before we started, and I forgot. So then I text my daughter, who's 16, she's not 5, can you please bring me a sharp knife? And she walks out of her room, and she's just looking at me in the knife drawer. And so that's when I thought I muted it, but I turned it or I ended the call.
She's like, I got the knife you requested. She's running blindly in the background.
But yeah, she brings me a knife, and I'm like, no, that one's way too dull. Because you need a sharp knife for these. It's an infinity gauntlet here I'm about to open. Hold on, let me grab it.
Oh, whoa. As always, showing off,
So this is actually a series from J. Wakefield Wakefield Brewing in Miami, which if you're ever down in Miami, you absolutely have to go to the Wynwood area and go to J. Wakefield Brewing and Wynwood Brewing and Concrete Brewing. So this is my last one. It's the Yellowstone, so the Mine Stone. And it is a Russian Imperial Stout aged in Joseph Magnus bourbon barrels.
Ooh.
So it is 13%.
Wow. You are like the heavy hitter of the crew.
She's like,
there's not an episode that goes by. Yeah, there's not an episode that goes by that Hoppy doesn't have something in the teens.
Yeah.
Usually she starts. Don't let her fool you.
That's true. I started low key, so I've moved on slowly to the high ABV because Sunday, starting out with that one when I only had a bagel in my tummy, was not good.
Yeah. So anybody that missed Sunday, Hoppy broke out like a 13 or 14% beer at like 10 in the morning on the East Coast here. So she went big time.
Start now.
Yeah.
In my defense, it was called Morning Wood, so it was very appropriate for the morning.
She went very big.
Yes, she did.
For my naked threesome too.
Yes, it would.
Yes, it was.
I hope everybody's kids are in bed at this point because the more
They
we
should
drink,
be.
the less PG it gets.
So I'm up here, back here in the hometown for me with Highland Brewing.
Ooh, nice.
This AVL IPA, a tropical juicy citrus. Highland is, for our area of the woods, is one of the older, more established craft brewers. They're an Asheville brewery. Probably, I mean, if you go back and look at the history of Asheville and beer, probably one of the first in the modern time of craft brewers to break ground and start brewing in Asheville. Well, their can says 1994, so these guys have been around a minute, brewing some good beer in Asheville, North Carolina. Produce some amazing stuff. They partner with some amazing organizations down there, and Pioneers in Craft is what their can says here. We're gonna get ready to go to. Let's get ready to go to beer school again because I have a feeling that there might be some current relevant topics that kind of tie in with our beer school that we're going to hit up here shortly. In just a second, we'll take you back down to Orlando with Professor Hoppy and check in with beer school. Let's see what she's about down there. Professor
That's a good
Hoppy.
idea before I drink this.
Yeah, let's get to
Last
that
time I did
before we get
Starts like falling over swimming water.
Yeah.
Otherwise, she
back
might be
in
balled up behind the
Prohibition
desk.
times.
I can't even get the damn wax off this thing. I need a bigger knife.
She's gonna be like, guys, quick, cut away from me. Smash. I did it.
There's so much wax on here.
I cracked
Okay.
open a Woodland Empire, the Edge of Rainbows, and this is a very good beer.
That is a good one. I had that one the
Wax
other
open.
night. All right, well, I'll do beer school and then I'll open that 13%er.
Well, we can do it at the same time if you need to.
I don't think I can do it at the same time because I really have to put more oomph into this knife. I'm going to end up cutting my finger off.
We're about to witness some
super
really.
Hey, at least we have the
We're
knife.
really trying to up our viewership.
Yeah.
It's, whatever
Hey.
works. I guess, right?
It's going to go viral, guys.
There might be something coming south that's not on our YouTube page.
All right.
It's better if it's
Well-
facing towards you when you try to open it.
It's better. Well, now I'm trying to open it. It's just there's so much damn wax even on the cap. Wait, I got it. Yes.
Hey!
Hey,
Oh, did it.
That
I'm
is-
gonna pour it into my.
She's like, now
Thor
just
rocket.
tired to drink it. My God.
All right. So
That'll be the best taste.
today's beer school is going to be Prohibition. We're still on Prohibition. So this is going to be Prohibition Fun Facts. Okay, so Prohibition started in 1920 and it was called the Noble Experiment. Now, it was not actually illegal to drink. Hold on, I gotta taste this. That's so fucking good. Okay. So it wasn't actually illegal to drink, but the 18th Amendment forbade the manufacture, sale, and transportation of intoxicating liquors, not their actual consumption. So Woodrow Wilson actually had to get a congressional exception to move his wine cellar from the White House to his house because that was transportation. So, and you were also allowed to keep anything you bought before Prohibition went into effect. You just had to drink it at your house. You couldn't transport it anywhere. So people were building wine cellars right before it went into effect. Some people actually bought out like entire inventories at liquor stores. And President Harding even had whiskey stocked for his poker nights, even though he was a senator when they voted on it and he voted for Prohibition. Now, what they expected when Prohibition was put into effect, they thought crime would go down and the other industries would increase, like theater and restaurants. Well, the opposite happened. Crime went up because all of a sudden normal people are now criminals, and a lot of the other industries went down. Nobody wanted to go to restaurants or the theater if they couldn't enjoy a beer. And honestly, like if you think about it, like if I'm going hiking with my 3-year-old or having to take my kids bowling, well, at least I can drink beer. If I can't even do that, I'd rather just stay home. So I can relate to that. So the Prohibition Act is actually called the Volstead Act, and there were some exceptions. There was a scientific research exception, so I assume many people felt very happy to donate their bodies to science during that time. And there was sacramental wine, which was an exception, and so many people found God during Prohibition. There was an increase in rabbis and priests. And then there was the medicine exception, which is medicinal whiskey. And I kind of imagine that it must be similar to when they first made medicinal marijuana legal. Oh, my head hurts, here, have some whiskey. Oh, I can't sleep, here, have some whiskey. That's what I'm assuming it was like. And a lot of speakeasies would actually say they were pharmacies, and Walgreens went from like 20 stores to like 500 during Prohibition.
God.
So good for them. Now, you know, a lot of people lost their jobs, obviously, so some people had to get creative. And I'm going to do a whole thing on how some of these breweries survived later, because if I just went on and on, this would be like a 5-hour
We'd be here
course.
all night.
We'd be here all semester. Yeah.
Listen, guys, we're taking quizzes at the end of this, so if you don't have your Scantron sheets out, you're just shit out of luck.
That's part of when you do
zero.
the Patreon, we mail you Scantron sheets.
Yes. Subscribe to our
grape
Patreon.
growers actually created their own kind of exception. So they would sell grape concentrate with directions on what not to do to have your grape concentrate turn into wine. Now, one of the things that was kind of interesting, and this kind of ties into what you guys were talking before, like you're talking about toilet wine and making your own liquor. So the main source of drinking alcohol during Prohibition was actually industrial alcohol, which is like the alcohol you use to make like perfume or ink or camp stove fuel. Now, they expected this to happen, so they kind of tried to taint this alcohol. But bootleggers, of course, then figured out a way to cancel out that and make it so you can still drink it. But it's believed that around 1,000 people a year died during Prohibition just from tainted alcohol. And, of course, moonshine was very popular as well. Well, what do you do when you have really crappy tasting liquor? You make cocktails. So the cocktail actually became very popular during Prohibition, and that's kind of why they believe it's so popular now, is because it was popular then. Because they did really gross things too. Like they added like dead rats and rotting meat to some of this liquor to give it like a bourbon flavor, which this is bourbon barrel aged. I don't get any rat dead. Well, I've never tasted a dead rat, but I don't get any of that.
Certainly hope not. Hold on, Florida man strikes again. We're just
Hey, they bath salts, not dead rats, bath salts. Okay. Now, before Prohibition, of all the alcohol consumption, it was usually only 40% liquor, but it actually jumped to over 75% after Prohibition, because I guess people were just on a mission to just get trashed rather than enjoy their drinks.
Look, we're all broke and have no jobs. Of course we're getting trashed.
Right, that's what we're doing now, too.
Exactly.
So now, while cocktails were a great big positive of Prohibition, the KKK actually reignited during Prohibition. So they said, hey, don't you worry, areas that you still have major problems with alcohol. We're going to come in and we're going to help you. But they would only target immigrants who were Catholic. Well, that was their main target. They really didn't like Catholic immigrants. They would bother Black Americans as well, and they would burn down any bars that they owned. But their main goal was the Catholic immigrants, because the Black Americans were already segregated. And now the worst part is that one of the reasons they got so big was the temperance unions and the anti-saloon unions actually teamed up with them, even though they weren't known to be POS racists. They kind of were like, well, you're trying to get rid of the alcohol. But they didn't. They drank it for themselves. So the KKK is not really a fun fact. So let's do another fun fact. So during Prohibition, Herbert Hoover, who was the Secretary of Commerce during a portion of Prohibition, he would actually stop at the Belgian embassy for a drink because there was no Prohibition there. So overall, less alcohol was actually consumed during Prohibition, but New York City had 30,000 speakeasies, and Detroit's alcohol industry was second to the auto industry. And FDR came and he campaigned to end Prohibition, 30,000 speakeasies.
Oh my God.
And I'm sure there were some they didn't find. I mean, who knows
Some
how
still
accurate these
do
numbers
exist too.
Well, yeah, now it's like
That's
a cool
crazy.
trend. But
Gold
FDR
speakeasy.
came in and was like, I'm going to end Prohibition, and he won in a landslide. And
hell
so
yeah.
after spending $300 million to enforce Prohibition and losing potentially $11 billion in tax-related revenues, apparently the 16th Amendment we learned about last week didn't really help them so much, Prohibition finally ended. And we'll learn more about that later. You know, Prohibition actually did help get out of the Great Depression and all that stuff. And I'm no economist, but I feel like the Great Depression Prohibition caused the Great Depression. I mean, they just got out of a war.
I think they go hand in hand, yes.
They really do, and I think they go hand in hand with cause and with ending it as well. But anyways, this was the first and only constitutional amendment ever to be repealed. So the 21st Amendment is basically saying, haha, just kidding, we didn't mean to do that.
Guys, it's just a prank, bro, I swear.
America's biggest prank. It was the Noble Experiment. And on December 5th, 1933, Prohibition ended, and they had a merry, fabulous Christmas.
Everybody was openly wasted because we finally could. And you know what? That's what we're all going to do together at the end of this. We're all going to get openly wasted because we can.
And I think next week I'm actually going to do the Mafia and Prohibition, since we're going to have Mobcraft on, because there's still so much more. This was like a let's make this fun. I went way too long on Sunday after I started with a 13%er.
Let's make this fun. Actually, the KKK came out from Prohibition. Now, God damn it, let's talk about this.
Let's go into more detail.
Well, they didn't start then. They had started beforehand.
So listen, if anybody tries to ban things, this is what happens when you ban things.
Right.
Well, evil
get rid of
groups like this
alcohol,
come
the
out.
KKK comes out.
You get rid of alcohol, KKK comes out. You get rid of marijuana, worse things come out. So stop trying to ban the greater things in life.
Worst things.
Well, you know what's funny is, okay, so it was the 1937 Marijuana Tax Act that started the whole thing of making marijuana illegal. And I feel like all the potheads were like, oh, well, what are you going to do? Meanwhile, the alcoholics are like, give us our alcohol back. So, you know, that's why Prohibition didn't work.
I just want to come
rid of
home
marijuana
from a
did.
dead-end job and drink a goddamn beer. Is that so hard to ask?
Obviously.
Relate to that today.
Yeah. That's if you don't learn something during beer school on Hops News, you're just not damn paying attention. There's a lot of shit that I'm like, can you even find that information on the internet? Hoppy, do you go to libraries?
I've seen some pretty weird.
Do you go to libraries?
What's a library?
No, I do not. I don't think you can go to
What's a
libraries
library?
right now.
Yeah, the library.
No, I do a lot of with the whole Prohibition thing, I watched a documentary on Netflix maybe 6 months ago or even longer, and I found it fascinating. And it's not there anymore, but it was really neat. So a lot of the research I do, I never use Wikipedia because I know people can do things, but like the History Channel has a lot of information on there. I got some information from the Smithsonian. So I go to different places, and like with the Rhine-Holzgebot one I did on Sunday, there was so much conflicting information that it was like, I was so all over the place. So I try to make sure I get things that, have good references.
She cites her sources.
But no,
it's all in MLA
I
format.
do. I cite my
guys can look
sources.
later.
Anybody who wants them, I do keep track of them. But I was actually watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. earlier with my daughter, and Prohibition was relevant to something in one of the episodes. I don't want to do a spoiler alert. And I looked over and I gave her some random fun fact, and I was like, Hops News is teaching me stuff.
Yes, that's awesome.
Is she tuning in right now? Is that
What?
the one that got you the knife? Is she tuning in right now, and is that the one that got you the? How's she doing?
Oh, she is the one that got me the knife. She's in the shower now. She's not tuning in.
She's like, I feel so dirty. I was just running around the house with a knife. I need a shower.
Oh, actually, it's actually the cocktail thing. They were making cocktails in a speakeasy, and I said cocktails actually got popular during Prohibition because the liquor was so bad. I'm like, that is a fun fact.
Nice. So Mash has got the add to words link there in the chat. Stop by, pay them a visit, drop some change in that bucket for us. Let them know you heard about them from us, Hops News, and donate some money to them. Great organization there in Idaho. Obviously, much needed support there still.
Yes.
And we're still going through these issues in the Supreme Court every week. So definitely stop by, drop them some change in the bucket, and help support that cause there. Don't forget to be entered for that bomber jacket down there in Orlando. This is coming from Hoppy, so you're getting it from the professor herself down there in Orlando.
I'll include some fun facts with it.
More about the KKK.
Also, I just want to point out real quick, the reason why there is no donate button, so maybe you guys can help in another way. If you don't donate, talk to Facebook. The reason why there is no donate button is because Facebook hasn't given them a donate button yet. For a nonprofit organization like this, they're really trying to grow as well, and they need your help. If you can talk to whomever you need to, report to Facebook. They have no donation button because Facebook hasn't given them a donation button yet. So in addition to going to addthewords.org and dropping some change in the bucket, tell Mark Zuckerberg, hey, give these guys a donation button. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Listen, guy, what are you doing?
So Mash, tell us how you get that bomber jacket. How do you get that bomber jacket? What do you got to do to be entered?
So, wicked cool. The way you get your bomber jacket this week is all you got to do is you got to subscribe to our YouTube. Simple as that. You don't even have to watch it on YouTube. You can join us live. You can catch us live on YouTube even if you want. But as the kids say, smash that subscribe button. Subscribe, because once, the first step is getting to 100 subscribers, and we can get our own custom URL page, which makes it 100 times easier for anybody to find us. And if you're loving what we're doing each week, we love giving back. That's our thing. Right now, these past few weeks, it's been directly to Idaho-only donations, but we have some really amazing guests coming up in the upcoming weeks, and the way that you can help us grow, to help these organizations even grow, and to get people to help and be the change that you want to see, just share us, subscribe. So if you want that bomber jacket tonight, just subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your kids, make an account, make many accounts. Your grandma needs a YouTube account. I think she does. She might know how to use it, but I heard the first and only thing she's ever subscribing to is the Hops News YouTube. So be there.
Hey, I'm not going to lie to you. The other day, my daughter said, Daddy, why am I subscribed to Hops News? I said, well, because
it's for the cause, goddammit.
Take one for the team.
The other day, and I'm like, he didn't subscribe yet?
Yeah, so grab your kid's iPad, whatever it is that they have, hit the damn subscribe button on Hops News.
Amazon Kids Kindle that I have, I'm going to
Same
YouTube
thing.
under my Amazon Kids Kindle, and they're like, why are you 4 years old and subscribing to a beer channel? Because Amazon's the damn cause, that's why.
Mind your business.
Same thing. Jeff Raymond.
Somebody asked if I will send candy. I send candy in all my beer packages, so there will be candy.
Yes, that's awesome.
That's how I get rid of my kids' candy.
Yeah, that's how we get rid of Halloween candy, Jeff. Just so you know. Jeff Raymond says, digging the Pac and the Dre in the background. So, yes, happy birthday to Tupac. That's our tribute to Tupac tonight. If anybody didn't know, this week is his birthday. Definitely one of those creators and musicians that was lost way too soon.
He's still alive on an island. I don't know what you're talking about.
With Elvis.
That's what they say, right?
Also, I was involuntarily entered into cuddle with somebody. That's how you get entered. I mean, if that's what it takes to get you to subscribe.
No.
Come on.
Cuddle with somebody?
No, you get to cuddle with me. The one and only Mash, apparently. You gotta ask my wife first. But if you win, you can join me on an Idaho couch.
There you go.
We're sipping beers by the fire.
Hey, there's worse things than cuddle and mash on the couch in Idaho. Trust me. I've done a few of them. I could tell you a few.
Twice.
Yeah. There's definitely candy involved, Brad. That's kind of the thing. You send them. It doesn't matter how shitty the package is. If you send a thank you note with a piece of candy, you can't really complain, right?
Southern Grist for candy. Hell yeah.
Southern
Got some
grist
Southern
for
grist coming
candy.
my way, and I
Southern grist is delicious. I've had some of their beer. It's awesome.
Who sent that out last time? Somebody sent that, right?
I think a picture of the beer. Yeah.
probably a picture. I think I sent you guys a picture the other day of the package that I'm going to be receiving from Brad soon. And if you're not in our little
Dude, I'm so
group,
excited.
then you're really missing out. Is all I got to say.
Yeah, I need to post what I have to offer because we got some amazing Florida beer. We don't have that. We're building the reputation, but I'm single-handedly going to make sure everybody at Hops News knows that Florida has the best beer.
Florida's got some good beer. Look, see.
Oh,
Although
I mean,
I'm
other
very
than maybe
biased
Vermont
because-
and like Russian River.
Go to
What?
Portland, Maine.
Wisconsin.
Listen,
I've been to. Oh, I haven't
Hops
been
News
to
is
Maine.
going
I've
to
been
Portland,
to Portland,
Maine.
Oregon.
But subscribe to look. All you got to do, our Patreon. You want to be in? You hear us talking these good beers. We're sipping good beers.
I'm telling you, Jay Wakefield.
Subscribe to our
Come on,
Patreon,
come on.
and you too could be sitting on your couch. I mean, it's either that or you got to subscribe to our YouTube, in which we can cuddle and sip on these together.
Every time you say that, I picture Ross and Joey taking a nap on the couch.
Well, that's how it is.
Hey, I don't know if the guys from I don't know if the Rambling Alcoholics podcast is listening tonight, but I seen they just tagged us in their story. So a little shout out to those guys. If you are watching, we definitely appreciate your support and appreciate you pushing us there on the Insta tonight. So thank
Jay's
you
been hitting
again.
up.
That's been a we're gonna get those guys on soon. I don't know if anybody listens to that podcast, but it's another good one. Is it back up yet? Are you guys there? I think you can hear me. Let me see if I can get the crew back on and bring those guys back on. I'm not sure what happened there. We had a little bit of a hiccup, I believe. Let me see what we are doing here. Yeah, well. Are you guys there?
There we go.
Hey, there we are.
We on the stream.
There we go.
Yeah, I think we've got the stream back. Somebody check the Facebook, all of
On the Facebook,
those.
still just
Yeah,
you by
the
yourself.
Facebook is a bit of a lag though, so I'm not gonna know
Yeah.
for another second.
I
Yeah,
was on a real good
Beautiful.
tangent.
We're good.
there.
Hey,
I
that's
Oh, yep, we're back.
I was talking about how comic books, we have
Wow.
Hot Wheels Pod coming out
Hey,
in a
so-
second now.
real quick. I'll apologize. I'm not sure what happened here, but
We're back, baby.
I think I lost internet at the HQ. And if you guys,
I was gonna go not you.
if you guys knew where I would lived, you would understand. It's not a great infrastructure up here. It's pretty desolate. So I definitely apologize for that. But definitely glad we're back, and thank you for those those viewers that stuck through the blackout. Let's see. That's the Hops News blackout. The first one we've had
Guys,
so
it happens
far.
to the best of us.
Well, we just kept talking. We didn't even realize.
We didn't. I was on a real good tangent about comic books and the Hop Heroes Pod. I just spoke to the Hop Heroes Pod. They're going to be calling in any minute now. They are fixing something on their end real quick.
Hey, this is
guys,
going to be a rolling blackout. This is going to make news in the morning. This may be breaking news, Hops News, internet blackout. An internet blackout is happening around the nation. Started right here on Hops News. You're going to hear about it in the morning. I guarantee you, they're all going to be talking about it.
behind the camera, but we're getting blacked out. From the camera.
Yeah.
Hey, one time Sunday morning. It was one time.
Oh God! What you didn't see is we all collectively fell over like I got the spins.
Yeah. So John says comic books. Now you're talking my
Yes.
language. Yes, John.
John, if you don't follow at least Hoppy and myself.
Yeah.
Lucky's a little bit of a closet one there himself. We have some very good ties into the comic book industry. Not that we do it ourselves. We are just super fans.
I was gonna say we're just all nerds.
Very big. It's not even nerd's a
I believe
cool thing.
The preferred term is geek, not nerd.
Listen,
I'm not a nerd.
Speak for yourself.
we have the guys of
Glasses
Hoppy Hours
on
coming
once
on
they
any
come
minute now. They
Hey.
talk beer. They talk comic books.
Or putting
Have
glasses on.
Listen,
We
Clark
should.
Kent, we all know who you still are.
I will tell you, it doesn't really matter, nerds or geeks. I'm kind of that. I mean, I used to have a pretty good comic book collection. My problem is, and I'll admit to this, is my memory is so damn poor. I can't keep up with the
We got us
storylines.
right here. We got you.
Yeah, so I love a good comic book. I like the artistic and the writing behind it, but I can't keep up with the whole storyline. And Charlotte, North Carolina is not too far from here, and they have a big convention there called Heroes Online. That is, man, if you're into comic books, you will go there and you will see illustrators, writers, I mean, the whole works. That's kind of where I fell in love with comic books.
Artwork is beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing.
absolutely, yeah.
We've got some good prints around here somewhere. Most of our comic books are in some douchebag's
Got
garage
some
that
prints
decided
right
to break
above.
into our storage unit. But yeah, I mean,
Nice.
it's
Yeah,
a
my
it's a great
favorite- I don't know if you
organization.
can see my Hulk and Wolvie, that's my favorite because that's when Wolvie was introduced.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. And I will tell you guys, this might be the Heroes Online could be something that we could get together and do kind of a comic book thing mixed with an actual beer tour, beer crawl.
Look, Comic Cons were canceled this year. I am all for it. Let's get some. We're gonna dress up. We're gonna do our own beer crawl comic book theme with the hops news.
That would be awesome.
Meet us in Asheville.
Yeah.
The Justice League, the Avengers, we're all assembled. It doesn't matter which side of the coin you are, and you don't even have to be a part of either one. We're
Yeah.
all going to be there.
So let's plan it. June of
I'm already
2021. June of 2021. Heroes Online will be back in Charlotte. They're always the last weekend in June. Let's
Yes,
plan a little
it's
get
awesome.
together there because that could be a good time. Comic
I will-
books and
I'm
beer.
gonna be
Plan it
Jean
out.
Grey. I'm gonna be Phoenix.
The kids will get dropped off in Raleigh with the in-laws, and we're pub crawling in comic book outfits. Look, I gotta start working out now because I'm not gonna look pretty in spandex right now. I'll tell you that. I'm gonna start sipping seltzers in a minute just so I can look good in some spandex. But you know what? Whatever.
I look
You
like
could
make
be,
it
well,
work.
my husband and I did Wolverine in Phoenix one year, and he did Hugh Jackman Wolverine, where he had jeans and like a leather jacket on and just claws and grew his hair out. So you
Listen,
don't have
I've
to wear
seen your
spandex.
husband shirtless. He's beautiful. Okay,
Uh-oh.
not so much on this.
I think everyone's seen my husband shirtless.
Hey, this is pretty.
Not
This
a
is
fan of
pretty. Just a little side note: the conversation around comic books and superheroes, geeks and nerding out, has spurred more conversation in our chat than we've had in a few weeks.
Yes.
Yes, Jeff said I wanted to see whitewater rafting in your superhero outfits. We could definitely do that in Western North
There's
Carolina
plenty-
for sure.
That in Idaho, there's
All right,
plenty.
somebody has to dress up like Namor. Then, if we're gonna be in the water, we need we
Aquaman,
need
damn
the
it.
submariner.
So Brad is tipping his hat to the Hops News family group. Brad says spring 2021, like on location at Common Law Brewing Company, grand opening in Tennessee. I'm not
Breaking news. That's some more breaking news.
I'm not going to go any further into that other than to say
I'm there.
wow. And I know you guys probably look at the posts that we put and are like, man, those guys are just trying to sell that Patreon, that family group. But I will tell you what the conversations that go on in there and some of the things that are in the works for the Hops News family viewers is pretty amazing. I could have never imagined that we would have the conversations that we had and to get started in those type of conversations that early. So it is a pretty special group of people that have come together to help us get to where we are now today.
Yes.
To where I'm sitting down looking at like, hey man, we can develop a budget around marketing and advertising. And when you're on our side of the table, that is pretty cool, that we can start to have those conversations. And we're actually getting ready to make a big decision on a web page. And if anybody's been in web development, realizes it's not a cheap number, but knowing that there's a little bit of support there right now is definitely helping push us to where we need to go.
Yes. We have a lot of good articles on our webpage too, which, you know, if you like just reading, sipping your coffee, newspapers are a dying thing. Get on the web. Why not read a little cool news? Lucky has some really good funny articles on there if you haven't
Lucky's
checked.
hilarious.
Lucky has some really good articles.
Lucky's a card that we have yet to bring out of a shell. So we need to get together because I think that's what it's going to take, is for us to actually be in the same bar doing whatever it is that happens.
You guys are ready. I don't know that you guys are ready.
Yeah. So Jeff says he just opened a cream donut infused cappuccino milk stout from A&B. Jeff, that is a phenomenal beer, and I think you're still out camping. We're looking forward to talking to you here in a second. Matt Mash has published and pushed out the link for Add the Words again. Go hit those guys up, our YouTube account. Don't forget, create an account for your gerbil, your hamster, your dog, your cat. Go subscribe them to YouTube because they need to be a part of the family as well. And we're going to give away that bomber jacket that Hoppy has down there in Orlando. She's going to send candy and a thank you note.
Maybe, yeah, you get candy.
You're gonna get some organic lollipops.
Come on, kids. Subscribe
Organic?
to our YouTube. There's free candy.
Organic lollipops. That's awesome. So I think we've got our boys on from Hop Heroes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Let's see if they're joining us. Are you guys on Hop Heroes? Are you guys on the line?
You know, I think we are. Can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
I can.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Foods.
We made it. Sorry about that. Wait, you guys.
Yeah, no worries. We filled it in with a lot of beer and a lot of conversation that really didn't amount to much, but we appreciate you guys joining us.
Oh, thanks for having us. We're very, very excited to be on the Hop Dude. Very excited.
So obviously the question always starts out, tell us about your journey into beer. You know, everybody, I don't know, you guys kind of look a little bit younger, so kind of everybody starts with breaking into Grandpa's PBR or Miller MGD or Miller
Wine coolers.
Yeah, wine coolers or some sort of like that. Tell us about the early days of Hop Heroes and how you guys got started in the drinking good beer.
This is a great question. That is a great question. I could tell my story at least. I don't know if it. JR's story is probably the best because the kid hates beer, and that's the best contrast we can have on our podcast. Somebody that doesn't enjoy beer and forcing him to drink it. But my first experience of drinking in general was with Zach, who's the third host of myself, I'm Jordan, and we have Zach, and we have JR. And Zach introduced me to Monarch Vodka and Gatorade at Warp Tour Festival.
Oh my God, Warp Tour! Don't get started right now, guys. Why would you say that name?
I didn't know that I introduced this to you. Yeah. You're a terrible influence, Zach. So I know, man. I'm like the worst. This is awesome. So the beer came much later after terrible experiences on Monarch. But Zach and I used to pound a few. You mentioned MGD, and that was our go-to, and we couldn't buy it ourselves. We'd send our boy Kevin Graves to the gas station and pick up a 30 rack of Miller Genuine Draft and have a bonfire and call it a night. So that was our entry-level beer.
Man.
Hell yeah. Jared, what was the first beer you had?
The first beer I had was.
Was it also with me?
No, there's a lot of firsts with Zach, but the drinking portion came when I was in high school. I used to live in the high desert, Mojave Desert in Southern California, and you can be out all night and still high in elevation. And they used to drink Old English out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, yes.
We were talking about
We were just talking about Old English the other day.
We're gonna have a malt liquor. We're gonna have a malt liquor episode very soon.
And I'm getting
yeah, like a brass monkey.
Stories of Old English.
And I'll be drinking it out of a paper bag too.
Yeah.
Perfect. You got
Paper
it.
bag, bottle. I'm not a huge person, and so the bottle's like half my arm, you know. And it usually was pretty warm out of a trunk, that kind of deal. So that was my first taste of beer, and until I did meet Jordan and Zach, and then that was the second taste.
Oh yeah.
Drinking and Warped Tour is the gateway to many a first of ours.
Yes. There's only one way you're going to go ahead and get through those pits, and that's, getting a couple of Miller Lights first or whatever, and then going in.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Moving them on.
See, I feel like I'll age myself. When I hear Warped Tour, like when Blink-182 sings Summer at the Warped Tour, I was at that summer of the Warped Tour.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, 99, man. Warped Tour 99.
I didn't start going till like Paramore was big, so goddamn me.
Yeah.
I remember
We were
Eminem
moshing
getting
to All
kicked
American
off at the
Reject.
stage one year because he was cursing, and we were at somewhere you weren't supposed to curse.
Oh,
It was
jeez.
weird.
At Warped
You were
Tour?
obviously
Oh, really?
in Utah. Utah, that's probably.
No, this was Palm Beach. I'm trying to think if that was the same one because I've seen Blink so many times. I know I saw them at the Warped Tour, but there was one time that they were touring with Blink or with Eminem, and Eminem was like, "I'm not gonna not curse," so he got to do like 2 songs, and they kicked him
You're
off.
not silencing Slim Shady, goddammit.
It might have been a different concert. I can't remember now. There's a lot of I don't know.
If Eminem's not
PC Warped
cussing,
Tour.
that's like instrumental.
Yes.
Like every other word that cuss with Eminem.
Right.
Right, exactly. And then Blink came out and they're like, "It's hot as heck out here." Like they didn't know what to do. I just got called a young man. I'll take it.
Hey, love it. This is Zach. My first experience drinking, I think you mentioned it, was wine coolers. I went to my friend's house after middle school, and
They said 3 different alcohols, and 2 of them were our first experiences. They know what they're doing.
yeah, you guys are experts. I remember him giving me a wine cooler, and I thought it was just juice, and I was, like, oh yeah, sure. And then, we had a couple, and I, got drunk. I don't even remember what we did. I might have blacked out my first time, which explains a lot about my life afterwards. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was wine coolers the first thing I ever drank.
And you still black out on wine coolers to this day. And that's not something that's never changed.
He's like, "Look, guys, I just enjoy opening up a nice wine cooler on a Friday night. All right, throwing on Bridget Jones' Diary.
Yeah.
And
Nothing wrong with that.
You gotta have a little self-love sometimes."
It's a great flick. It's a great flick.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We actually used to watch Walk to Remember and drink wine coolers in Zach's room. That's
Oh
Yeah.
my God, yes.
That's not true.
It's
That is not true.
it's kind of the
repeat that.
I just
Not
cried
true.
because that's
Hawaiian.
yeah. It's kind of the experience that gives us the list, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the experience of like, where's everybody started drinking? And when you guys said MGD, my brother, it's in the chat. It's like, that's exactly where Grandpa's refrigerator in the garage was always packed with MGD. And that's kind of one of those beers in the 90s, that kind of 80s, late 80s, early 90s that everybody kind of was after. So yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. So tell us, how did you guys, what brought you guys together and to mix beer and superheroes now?
That's a great question. So in the early days of our drinking experiences, Zach and I would end up, no matter what the situation was, drunk around a fire or drunk around a table arguing about which superhero would win in a fight.
I need some examples.
Yes, I would like to play this game.
The epic one that we still never come to a decision on. I'm a Spider-Man supporter and Zach's a Batman supporter. So we've never come to an agreement on who would win that fight.
Spider-Man.
I'm a Batman supporter, but I think Spider-Man takes it.
Oh, hey.
I was going
We'll
Spider-Man.
send you guys on. We'll tell you who's right.
You guys are
End the
sleeping on
conversation right now.
the bat.
Tribe has spoken. But yeah, we would get drunk and argue about superheroes all the time, and that was not productive. But
It's always productive.
Cyclops and Gambit.
Gambit.
Ooh, Gambit.
What was it? Gambit
Oh.
and who?
Cyclops and Gambit.
Cyclops and Gambit. I would go Gambit.
Yeah.
I would go Gambit myself.
Yeah.
I love this is awful. This is terrible, bro. I shouldn't even brought that up.
I feel like someone's just getting railroaded right now.
I'm getting roasted.
But yeah, so we would drink and argue about this, and this is exactly how it would go. And then later on, I met JR through my work and found out he was a comic book artist, and he actually knew what he was talking about when it came to comics, whereas Zach and I would just argue about bullshit. So the three of us kind of came together and decided that we should probably make something out of this. This is something that we're also passionate about, and then we decided to drink beer and talk about superheroes on the microphone.
I mean, that's what better way. And JR, if you have not seen JR's art, I gotta say I've perused the Instagrams. You absolutely do have some really good talent on the pen, on the pencil, whatever. He has some really good stuff.
So check
him out.
He's the guy behind your guys' creativity, your artistic, your graphics, that sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, he
tries to stay humble, but he's like, yeah, no, that's actually really all me.
He's the only one out of the three that has any talent, and we're really riding it for all it's worth, I'd say.
No, don't start, because I'm gonna have to owe you something for that comment later. I think what works for us is that we actually are all three pretty creative at some level of like, let's say even a comic book. Let's say if you think about what a comic book is about, you got a writer, you got an artist, you got a guy who puts the script together. Jordan's been really good at writing scripts. He used to do that. Zach's an amazing writer, and I do the art. So we've been able to kind of put that together, and I think that's why a lot of our stuff worked out pretty well. Just our stuff has always been there. So
I think that's cool too when we have conversations about comics, because we usually approach it from that angle.
Yeah,
like, we'll read the same book, but we really take in different things because we approach it from what we kind of do in our spare time. So there we always kind of look at the art and mention things that I missed, and I'll always kind of talk about the narrative and then mention things that they missed. And Jordan just like gets drunk and makes jokes and stuff.
That's true.
It's like you guys are nerds. You know what you're talking about.
Makes it for an interesting conversation.
Jordan gets the drunkest. That's for damn sure.
Well, we can definitely.
He's our lucky.
Yeah, we can relate to that here at Hops News. We can relate to that here at Hops News, and that the other three have tremendous beer selections, and I have like 3 breweries that I can get on a regular basis, and we posted in the Hops News family in a group to do the beer exchange, and I'm like, what the hell do I have to offer? I'm going to have to drive like an hour just to pick up decent beer. So I can personally relate to where you guys are coming from with that. It's hard not everybody has a talent, right? I've got the equipment that I can bring this show to everybody that's watching, but I definitely don't have much of the talent to bring the people to the room to be like, I want some of that good beer.
So have you guys thought about doing a Hop Heroes? You're talking about how, the writers and the, artistic ability. Have you thought about doing a Hop Heroes little comic book action on the side? Or is that something you guys already do or might be doing in the future?
We actually have. Yeah. We started a project a while ago, and it's still kind of going. We haven't released anything, but yeah, we've definitely had that conversation. That has definitely, and I've wanted to include Jordan as kind of like the editor, but yeah, I mean, I think that anything's possible.
I think that would be a great
all
idea.
The characters
all you guys' ideas.
Yeah,
they're from Dungeons and Dragons game.
Dungeons and Dragons game.
So I'll tell you a little bit of what I know about comics. I picked up on the boys comics about 8 years ago. Before they even were
boys, yes.
Like when they were really small indie. I think I found out about them in Charlotte one year. Like really, I mean, just a really small indie comic. off on their own. They didn't have like the main stage or anything like that. But I picked up on those guys, and I will tell you what, those guys they went from indie to like being mainstream. Have their own show. Yeah. Are they coming out with a new season? What's up with the boys?
They're supposed to be, yeah. I haven't read it.
Yeah, they're coming out in July.
I actually haven't read any DC. I've only read Independent and Marvel, but the show was phenomenal. And I waited for a while to watch it. I didn't have high hopes, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!"
Oh,
and I saw that you guys were doing. Did you release your podcast yet on it?
The first episode. The first season was was last year, right? At the summertime, as soon as the show came out.
Yeah. So typically when a show comes out like that, well, we do a comic book recap and then we do a reaction to the season. So we had back-to-back boys episodes last summer, and those actually been two of our bigger episodes that we dropped. Because that
I guess I saw something on your story, so I thought it was new. So it must have been just a memory or something. Okay, I need to go back. I've only listened to a couple of the podcasts, but I need to listen to more of them. I need to listen to the Endgame one. That one I'm really looking forward to listening to.
I've been saving that one myself because I every time I hear the portal scene, I get really emotional.
Yeah, I was gonna say I just started crying.
That whole movie, I cried more during that movie than I've ever cried in my entire life.
Hoppy, if you haven't read The Boys, that's a must read. That's a phenomenal book.
Yeah. Must watch.
It is a good must watch. The show is actually better than the comics.
Well, all the DC comics are back in production, but Marvel doesn't come back till July. Because I went to the comic book shop last week, and they're like, "Oh, we don't really have anything for you." But I need to finally jump on some DC stuff. But so you're saying the show was better than the comics, Matt?
The show was actually, yes. I mean, I'd like to hear your guys' take because I have to go back and listen to those episodes. I personally think that the show was better than the comic. What do you guys think?
Jared?
I would say part. I mean, I would say for if you just want to not like cringe as much, or you just pure entertainment, the show was amazing. I mean, it was pure entertainment. You loved it, action packed. I mean, there was, you flew through that season. So it was a really good season. If you want to go to another level and see what comic books can bring to the table, what a TV show can't, you got to read the book. And when we did the episode on the book, Jordan's favorite comment, which is probably what you heard on there, is pretty gruesome and pretty vulgar. And I'm glad it's Jordan's voice on there and not ours saying that.
Of course.
But yeah, so it's like a little bit different than the other, and a lot of times that happens. But I would say, both of them are good in their own perspective. You can't do one without the other, honestly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would add on to that.
Okay. So I need to go to Gmart right now and just order it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that the book allows you to dive deeper into the characters, and I think that the show kind of just cherry picks the biggest. Yeah, and it just moves faster, and so a lot of times if you like the show and you get the book, you're just going to get more of that. You're going to get more details. You're going to get more more background thoughts that the characters have.
Yeah, you get to go deeper into characters, and you have more time that you might not necessarily have on the show. Yeah, that makes absolute perfect sense.
So I gotta put a comment out there real quick from Brad, one of our Hops News family members. That's a guy that's bringing ideas to the table for us faster than we can really even consume them on our side, because he's been a great supporter from day one. I think Brad's been involved with us. Brad says Hops News, Hops Heroes, Common Law collab brew, crowdsourced recipe idea, awesome label art. Maybe people should join Patreon to make it happen.
If you don't know, Brad is opening up a brewery in Nashville in the springtime. So that's why he's talking about a little collaboration between Hops News,
Common Law, which is his brewery, and the Hop Heroes.
Yeah, that would be
I'm pretty sure he said we could dress as superheroes and open the brewery, right? That was
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, if you guys want to put a live show together in Nashville,
Yes, we are.
I mean, I would definitely be down.
Yeah, we are
we'll
going to
find
do
it.
that.
That idea.
21.
So we
spring
weren't-
of
we
21
weren't gonna-
is looking like.
Yeah, we weren't going to break any breaking news today about that, but spring of 2021, we will be in Nashville, south of Nashville, at Common Law Brewing, helping with their grand opening. We're working with Brad to do a collab Hops News beer. It sounds like we'll have to do 2 with Hops Heroes. Get those guys involved. Come up with a beer and a recipe and a label. That could be a great. That could be a great partnership. And I will tell you, if nothing more, that'll be a hell of a grand opening.
Oh man,
No kidding.
Absolutely. That sounds awesome.
We're in. Whatever we have to do, sign us up.
you heard it here first. Hop Heroes, they're in. I mean, I
Yeah.
think you guys are right
This
up
is
the
all
road
on
in
the record
Washington
now.
too.
This
So
is
you
all
just
on
swing
the
through
record
Idaho. We'll all go together.
All right.
Hell
like
yeah.
it.
Hell yeah.
And I'm bringing
So-
every single costume I have, superhero life.
Hell yes, we're all the back seat is comic books. Somebody's riding up top. It doesn't matter.
That's awesome.
Somebody's in the comics.
And I know a good cigar shop in that area of Brad too. So we'll do a bourbon and cigar episode with some comics and all of it mixed in.
Oh,
but
yeah.
there's
Now
another
you're speaking my language.
there's another there's another indie book that is right on the tip of my tongue that I can't remember, but it's kind of along the same lines of the boys. But I will definitely look into it, and I'll reach out to you guys and see. I'm sure you guys have probably heard of it and read of it, but those indie books kind of for me is where I got my start, and they're producing Preacher, that's it.
Another good
Preacher.
Preacher's another good. Yes.
Preacher,
Yeah.
that is it.
Legendary.
I mean, those guys.
It
Polarizing.
was just
Yes, that
it was
is
just Seth Rogen and what's his name just went ahead and did the show that just ended. That's right.
Yeah,
Howard Stark was in it.
man,
Yes.
I love
Yeah.
DC Marvel. I love the history that's there. Stan Lee will always have a part in my heart. But I will tell you what, those indie
sure.
comics that come out from nowhere and make an impact like that in pop culture and all of this streaming world is just phenomenal. And if you don't go to the comic book shows, if you don't get involved in this, you don't hear about it early, right? That's where you hear
you
about
gotta go to
those
your-
series.
Like my favorite comic right now is Oblivion Song by Robert Kirkman. I mean, that's
Ooh.
he's
That's a good
the
book.
dude that did Walking
Yeah.
Dead, and it's
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So
Mhm.
we
And
could talk comics
if
all
you
night
own
with
the
these guys
first,
here.
if you do own the first book of Oblivion Song, the actual comic, I would hold on to that because as soon as they make that TV show, it's going to jump up in
Right.
price.
Yes.
No, I have the
I-
first
I
one
do
because
have it.
I didn't even ask for it. I went to the comic book shop to pick up my Walking Dead and my Old Man Logan, and they're like, "Here you go." I was like, "Okay."
And you're like, this
But
is
yeah,
good.
there you
That's
go.
lucky.
They're gonna make the show, but I think even if it went up in value, I wouldn't sell it. I would still keep it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'd probably sell it, but it's because I have like a million comics.
it's like I've got about 6 copies. I'd
honest.
sell it. You know what? I'd chill out, man.
I'd probably say it. Whatever.
Well, I have the last episode of The Walking Dead, and apparently that because they didn't announce that they were gonna end it.
Yeah,
was
just
very-
ended randomly.
Yeah, it was a year ago, like right now. It just abruptly ended. I was like, wait, what? But it was a huge issue, and it was still like $3.99, so that was nice. But yeah, I saw people selling it on eBay. But then you don't have the full collection.
True. Unless you have multiple copies
True.
like he does.
Yeah, maybe that's what I should have done.
So I do have to ask, who does the intro for you guys? Because that intro, anytime you hear it, it's such
It's
a
awesome.
good pop. Like, man, I don't know. It's amazing.
Wait,
I gotta say,
which one?
We have two.
the
We have two
intro to your
intros.
guys' podcast, like it hits a different chord. I gotta know who does it.
Are you talking about the epic one with the cheesy like
Oh,
epic
it's
music in the
got all
background,
the
or
cheesy
the
comic book
mandolin?
lines.
With great
You either-
fear comes great
either
responsibility.
Drink long enough to see yourself become
Yeah.
a villain. Like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? That's
Thank God.
So yeah, basically that one's me. I always had the dream of being a preview voiceover actor, and that was my shot at that. But we have a couple different formats of episodes. So sometimes we do a Q&A or a show episode or a season reaction, and that's when we use that intro. But we do a story arc episode where we talk about a character or a story and break that down. Then we have a different intro, which is Zach on a mandolin singing his heart out. And it's probably the worst thing you've ever heard in your life, and we love it.
Are you kidding me? That's probably the worst best thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm going to go look this up right after this episode.
Oh, and tell them the story. Tell them the story how we made this and where. And I think it's a very humble beginning for us, by the way, on that intro.
I'll tell it from my perspective. So
there's fans everywhere.
Yeah, there's fans everywhere, and we're already no. I was going to school in New York, and I had come back to Washington, and Jordan, who had been one of my best friends for a while, said, "Hey, I have a surprise for you." And I was like scared, like, what the fuck what is he going to do?
He gets on one knee and starts monologuing.
Yeah. From great responsibility comes great fun. No, he came over with JR, who I hadn't seen in a long time, but was also one of my great friends. And basically came over with a microphone and said, "Hey, man, I have this idea. Let's do a podcast." And so that day, we kind of set up shop on my mom's back porch. And I happened to get a mandolin. I think that week it was brand new. And I was stoked because I knew like 2 chords. And so I started playing this song. And I'm like, "Hey, man, like this could be our intro." And we were recording it. And while I'm playing it, Jordan's like arguing with me, like, "Stop, this is garbage, don't do this." And I'm singing over it, like, "Nah, dude, this is great, this is fire." And we get like that back and forth between him and I while I'm playing the mandolin song, and it just kind of stuck. It's all these years later, it's still our intro for one of the episodes.
That is amazing. That's true friends right there. I don't know, like, it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, no, we have a history of giving each other shit in a heartfelt way. So, yeah, when you listen to those episodes, you can hear Zach singing "Hop Heroes" in an octave that he's never reached before in his life. And
only for you.
Only for me. And then in the background, it's just like me, just very subtly. That was terrible. That was awful.
Guys, that was awful. He's like,
good.
"Shut up! You don't even know."
Yeah.
Well, what's funny
Like, this is
when
terrible. I'm like, "Did you
I was
want to add
listening to you
something to
guys were
this?"
drinking
Like,
some beer, and one of the guys was like, "Oh, this is good," and they're like, "Wait, you liked it?" And then he took another sip, and he was like, "Oh, this is bad." And then you just mentioned, "Oh, well, you don't even like beer." I'm like, "Oh, that's the guy."
Well, we found out who that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's me. Sorry.
So what do you drink if you don't like beer? Are you...
Yes, JR, what is your go-to drink? If beer is not your drink, what do you typically reach for first thing?
Is it just wine coolers?
No, I don't get drunk. There's a really bad story about me getting drunk, and I prefer not to say that to people who haven't met me quite yet.
I feel like you found a way to tell this story like 20 times now.
I don't want to tell this story. It makes
yes,
me sweat.
you do.
All right, fine, whatever. So I, usually. In the past, I don't drink a lot that often, and I don't get drunk that often if I count it on my hands, So, but in the past, I used to drink and pass out massages to women, so I have to be careful.
You would give massages to women.
Hey, you either need to be careful or go visit Lucky, one or the other.
I'm past that now. And when I was in my early 20s,
God, it's young.
But
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, guys. That's gonna be great for me in the future. I guess I can never get into politics now. So
Can't get into politics now. We just ruined his political career.
Hey,
Don't go on Twitter.
Biden's running for president. You never know. If Biden's running for president, you might be able to, you might be a shoo-in.
I still vote for JR.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you very much. But yeah, I won't really grab anything for beer. Usually Jordan or somebody else will tell me what to drink. I taste it, and Jordan will usually finish it for me because it's like twice my size, and so he can finish it off pretty well. But I mean, I guess if I had to pick a beer to drink, there's a local brewery out here called Silver City Brewery. We love them very much. They support us all the time, and they have a beer called Tropic Haze, which is a double IPA. That beer,
it's a hazy IPA with, I think they use mango.
They do, yeah. It's very tropical. It's very fruity in it. I can drink that probably the best out of any beer that we've tasted over the last 3 years.
Yeah, the first time we had beer, we did when we were recording, we did an Aquaman episode, and we were doing I can't remember what beer it was, but we had space dust.
Seawater.
We had space dust with Elysian.
Elysian's very big out there, yeah.
We're all going. It started in Seattle, so it's a big deal in Washington. And we were all going around the circle, and I was loving it. Zach was just loving it. And JR goes, "That tastes like sour grass." Like, all right, we have a podcast.
As he sips on Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Yeah.
That's like high school, right?
I don't like that either.
Terrible.
Yeah. Hey guys, we definitely appreciate you coming on the show. I hate to cut it short, but we're running a little we're running a little long-winded tonight.
Like a full hour.
Slide into my DMs more than you already have, Jordan, and we will talk.
And it sounds like we're going to be drinking beer
Careful what
together.
you wish for.
Yeah, we're going to be drinking beer together
I'm
the
looking
spring of
forward to it.
2021 and south of Nashville somewhere. So that'll be a good time. But definitely hit us up. We'll get in touch. We'll get in touch with Brad, and sounds like Brad and Brian in the chat already have a great recipe lined up for this beer. We're looking forward to whatever comes out of this relationship, because it's been a crazy one, and we will definitely have you guys back on another episode for sure, because it's been a good night. But we've got some other commitments that we have to get to this evening, and take care of some business that sort of pays the bills. So appreciate you guys coming on.
I want to be in on those DMs too.
Yeah, we're all sliding each other's DMs.
Third party, yeah.
What's the guys happening
It's going to be such a group DM set, so I can't wait.
Yeah. No, thank you guys so much for having us. It's a blast.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Really appreciate you guys coming on. I will talk to you all soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, it was so much fun.
I put JR's Instagram handle in the
Cheers,
chat,
guys.
so check out his art.
Have a good night.
Cheers.
Appreciate you coming on.
All right, thanks.
Cheers.
Tell them to plug their stuff before they get.
Oh yeah. Well, we can plug it. If you don't follow them already, just look up Hoppy Heroes.
Hop Heroes.
Yeah. Hoppy, go ahead, and we're going to go down to Florida real quick because I might have to step away from the mic. Hoppy, go ahead and plug Hop Heroes for us.
So if you want to find them on Instagram, it's Hop Heroes Pod. And I've tagged them in a bunch of stuff this week as well. And and they're also on Spotify, Hop Heroes Pod. You'll find them as well. They do drink good beer and they talk comic book stuff. So it's a lot of fun. And I'm still on my 13% bourbon barrel aged beer.
I'm
delicious.
On that all
myself.
episode. Come on.
Yeah, you've been on this.
This is my third beer this episode.
I'm on my fourth right now, so I can't.
I started with the Dark Knight.
Good thing I grabbed a fifth to put in my little cooler here. All
right, Lucky. Challenge accepted.
Awesome. Thanks for plugging that group there, Hoppy. I forgot all about it, and I apologize, guys, for that. But Jeff, if I think you're up next. If you're able to call in, go ahead and give us a ring. We'll
Lucky,
patch
how
you
many
through.
ounces are your beers?
6 ounces.
Are they all?
I'm on 6 today. This is 16. This is 12. This is 12 and 12. And I
How
had a
many ounces
16.
is 500 milliliters? That's what this is.
We already went to beer school. Stop
No.
talking this trash.
We do not need. Is that the metric system? I don't even know. We don't
have no
need
idea.
that.
Hold on,
This
I'm
is
gonna find out how
America.
many ounces. Google. Alexa,
America.
how many
Lucky
ounces is 500 milliliters?
Oh, I'm opening up a little big sticky.
Because that's how I feel after that last interview.
Alexa says 17 fluid ounces.
Same, dude. I literally could have done that for.
I could talk to those guys all night. They were really cool, really good guys. Yeah.
How many were on that call?
Okay, I'm going to Gmart
there
right
was
now.
Like 4?
You had, so if for anybody just tuning in, you had Jordan, Zach, and JR from Hoppy Heroes Pod. You can find them on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, Apple, Spotify. They are there. They put out really good content. If you're into comic books, they interview a lot of big names. And then additionally, not just comic books, they talk to a lot of good food chains up there near Tacoma, Washington and things where they're from. So I highly, highly recommend listening to their podcast. They do a lot of good work. Those dudes, I think I just became best friends with them on the count of comic books and alcohol. And that's how friendships are made. So.
And MASH don't know this, but we're out there with MASH in Mountain Home, Idaho. MASH, how do you find them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? Let's make sure we plug those guys.
You look up Hop Heroes Pod. That's where you find their main Instagram. And then their 3 hosts are JR, Zach, and Jordan. I don't know their exact. And I shared JR's earlier in the chat because his artwork is phenomenal. So if you get a chance, they have all their handles in their bio on Instagram. So if you go to their Hop Heroes Pod Instagram, all their bios are there. You can find JR, you can find Jordan, you can find Zach. They're on Twitter, Facebook, and then again you can listen on Spotify. You can listen on Apple Podcasts, which is what I listen on. They're out there. So definitely in addition to following our YouTube page, which you should have done if you want this bomber jacket, and just follow us anyways.
Great plug.
You will find them. And hey,
that's awesome.
Great guy.
Yeah, definitely make sure you're following us. We're going to come back to the 4 of us. Make sure you're following us on Twitter, Instagram, obviously Facebook. Share us. Tag your friends, your enemies. I don't give a shit, really. Tag somebody in the chat right now. Tag somebody in the chat right now, and we're going to love it.
You love what we do, and you love what we do, so why not share the love? Share the love,
Yep, share
Somebody
the love.
out there is bound to love it.
If you want that Hoppy, let's go to Hoppy in Florida. If you want that bomber jacket that Hoppy has with whatever candy she's going to send, you've got to subscribe to YouTube because it's going to be hot. It is going to be...
It kind of looks like the Epcot ball a little bit.
Listen, if you like this one,
we have
we have way better bomber jackets.
On the way.
So this is just a peep of what's to come.
This is the prettiest one.
Yep.
If you've ever been to Epcot on acid, this is what the ball would look like.
Whoa.
Pop goes war on
yeah.
I'm your Disney beer expert, and I will have my Disney beer articles resume next month, whether or not I'm going there or not. My husband mentioned not renewing our passes, and I almost started crying like it was Endgame.
She said, "You don't renew my passes. We don't renew our passes." So
well, that was my
awesome.
one rule with moving to Orlando. I had to have Disney passes. This was unprecedented.
Yep, unprecedented. So we've got the bomber jacket. Like or subscribe to our Hops News YouTube. That's the only way to get entered into the drawing. Let's get a couple of comments. Brad said, "A friendship forged in booze." I'd like to say
that's right.
Philanthropy through beer.
Those are like my only friendships.
Some of my best friendships have been formed over music and beer. So you know what? It doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get there.
Jeffrey McCall says, Hoppy can drink. She was going to pour for us at our last show before it was canceled.
Uh-oh.
2 weeks when everything shut down, and 2 weeks later was supposed to be that beer festival. No, they're going to open a brewery over in East Orlando. I'm very excited. It's their beer is amazing. I drank their beer a couple weeks ago when I said I had that homebrew from one of the breweries that's supposed to open. That was amazing.
I remember.
Yes.
That's these guys.
So that's them. Bowman Hill Brewing.
Hey.
So once they're open and canning or whatever, I will send you guys some beer, and we should get them on here.
Yes.
So
maybe we can get a
real
Hops
quick,
News
Jeff has
collab
been
down
trying
in
to
Florida.
call, but it keeps going to voicemail, J Brew.
Let's get Jeff on here.
A different Jeff. Not
Jeff.
Jeff Langer keeps trying to call, and for some reason, it keeps going to voicemail.
He should be on. He's on hold right now. Yeah, he should be on hold right now. So we've. I think we have him on the line. He should be on the line.
Jeff is here to tell you all about our Patreon, which has some really great things, such as our beer exchange. You've heard us talk about some beers. This is how you get in, man.
Where'd Lucky wait a minute? Where'd Lucky go? Let's go up to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, real quick.
Empty chair.
What are we?
Lucky likes to leave us.
We're live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin with Lucky.
And Lucky's in the latrine.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Let's go check in.
Jeff, call. I know it's late, but tomorrow's Friday, baby. Get on here.
And Jeff, you're the only one whose address I don't have. I need to send you stickers.
I'm drinking out of my own very own Fancy Hops News koozie.
You don't know it, Lucky, but you're on live. We had to go to you with the empty chair.
No, I do know. I listen to you guys when I go, and every time you do that, I was just going to the maybe
latrine.
Let's go check in with Jeff. I think we got Jeff on the line. Jeff, can you hear us?
What's going on, guys?
Jeff.
Hey.
Yeah.
You did it. Jeff is a loyal
you could
Patreon
join
subscriber.
us. Yes, Jeff is. So to give the listeners, the viewers, everybody out there in internet land, Jeff is not only a Sip of Sunshine level family member, but he is the first. Jeff, how's it going out there?
Hey, man. I'm doing good. Hope you guys are.
Yeah, man. We can't complain. It looks like you had a great camping trip. Tell us about that camping trip, because I know Jeff personally. Jeff and I are really brothers from another mother. And I know Jeff, and we've been friends for a while. And he's been drinking some good beers and had some great views. Tell everybody about your camping trip recently.
Well, we went up to Bryson City, and we just stayed up there at Deep Creek Campground and Tubing Center for a week. And pretty much every day we just went out and found a new waterfall to hike to, and did some exploring. It was pretty neat, so for sure. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. And you've definitely drank your share of decent beer on this trip.
Oh, well, yeah. I've seen those pictures.
Life's too short to drink cheap beer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That should be our motto.
Yes, life is too short to drink good beer.
Right. Screw philanthropy through beer. It's life's too short to drink bad beer.
Yeah.
I do have to tell y'all a story, though. My wife, she was like, yeah, we're going to go camping. We need to get away. And she's a nurse, so she didn't want to be around a lot of people. So she's like, yeah, we're going to go up to Bryson City. We always go up to the Boone area where Jeremy is, and so we decided to go to the other side of the mountain. And when she booked us a cabin, and that was all it was. And then a little bit later, it was like, well, the cabin doesn't have air conditioning. And then, like, right before we went up there, she's like, well, the bathroom's not actually in the cabin. You have to, like, go outside and walk down the hall to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's life in the mountains of western North Carolina. So, and if I'm not mistaken, Jeff, you should probably be on a cruise ship somewhere. So this has been a complete change of your kind of vacation plans for the summer of 2020.
Yeah, we had booked the cruise out of New York, and we were actually, I think I'm supposed to be in Grand Turk right now, actually, but. Everything happens for a reason, and I'm just glad that everybody's safe and healthy. And I teach middle school, so I just hope we get to go back in August, but I really don't think that's going to happen. So
it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, you hear every day how things are. Everybody's trugging along, but new breaking records of cases. So I guess we'll see, because that's definitely. I know teaching is one of those harder things to do virtually. You lose a lot of in the translation. So hopefully you guys can get back there to teaching the kids in person, because that's where I personally learn a lot better.
And that's where I personally prefer my kids to learn.
And everybody prefers their kids to be in person as well.
Yes, Jeff, we need you back in business so I can stop drinking so much beer at 10 in the morning.
Or drinking without my kids.
That I hear, the teacher have on the Zoom calls with my child and all the other children. I'm like, I don't have that patience. I am Billy Bob Thornton from Bad Santa. Like, are you fucking with me, kid? Like, what is happening?
Well, it was great though because on the other side of the Zoom call, there's me, and it's 10 o'clock, and I have a beer. So.
Yep.
And that's okay. I'd almost judge you if you didn't.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's in a water bottle. He's like, guys, math.
Yeah. So what do y'all think about football season? You think we're gonna have football season?
Yeah, that's an interesting topic. I was just gonna bring that up because that our boy Lucky is up there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where we're gonna go. I believe it's the second week of the season when we make a trip to Madison, Wisconsin. Lucky and I and Jeff will all be at the same tailgate location, drinking a shit ton of beer before noon and enjoying a great football game. Lucky,
so much fun.
What's your take on the football scene up there, Lucky?
Beer.
Yeah, I'm gonna send a bunch of Sun Cruisers.
What's your take on? Are we gonna do football? Or are we coming up there to play football in Madison in September?
1,000%. I think if anything is coming back soon, I think it'll be the NFL first, and then I think it'll be college football.
What about basketball?
Excuse you. There's a thing called the NHL that starts in a month. There's a thing
called the NBA that we were right at the cusp of it getting good, and apparently a bunch of the good teams are coming to Orlando, and they're gonna try to have some games.
Nobody cares about.
I'm talking a full season. I'm talking full seasons. I'm talking all the teams.
7 years ago this week, I was at Game 6, Heat versus San Antonio Spurs. They had to wheel that trophy back. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, so this spurred some comments in our chat here. Jason Hewitt, my brother, said, "Don't forget me. He will be there, Lucky." And Jeff, another Sip of Sunshine family member. Brad Eldridge said, "You mean the week when App State knocks off another Big Ten powerhouse?" Yes.
On Wisconsin.
That'll be the same. That'll be the same week.
Your hands are weird.
That'll be the.
Everybody
here has less national championships than the U. You're correct.
Okay. How many losses do you have?
What I like about
talk to me.
Is we're always underdogs. And I
I want to make a bet with you guys. I'll give you guys your choice of spread. I think Wisconsin wins by at least 6.5. So I'll go Bucky minus 6.5. What do you want the bet to be?
I think Wisconsin wins by 17.
I mean, Max, I appreciate that.
Listen, I'm a very big Wisconsin fan. I love Wisconsin, the state. First of all, a lot of their good running backs. I'm a giant Packers fan, for God's sakes. So let's just talk a little bit. Wisconsin's going to win by 17.
I don't think we'll.
Jeff right now. Jeff, what do you think? What do you think is a fair spread? What do you think is a fair spread? I've got Wisconsin.
6.5.
Are you going to take that? 6.5. I'll give you 6.5 right now.
Man, I'll take that for 100 all day long.
Hey, Jay,
let's go. That's my man. I was going to say something like first rounds or dinner on the loser.
First rounds. Probably at that point it's about
whatever. Let's go $100. Let's go $100.
I had to.
I'm Wisconsin, baby.
I am interested. Jeff, what do you think it's going to be?
You took 6.5. You took 6.5.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad taking 6.5 because I feel like I should give him 6.5. But
yes, sir.
Since he's already given me 6.5, I mean, I'll take that all day.
I'm giving it to you. I'm giving it to you.
We should have beat Tennessee. We should have beat Penn State. I mean,
we beat UNC. We beat South Carolina.
I was gonna say,
geez.
UNC's quarterback is legit, so that is a very, very big win.
And just so you know, I'll send you a GIF where he's on his back a lot. He gave up 7 points himself.
So am I the only NBA fan out here?
Yes.
I'm a very big Bucks and Celtics fan, actually.
Seattle Supersonics.
Guys, I'm from Boston. Hey, Seattle
Boston.
Supersonics, Gary Payton, my man.
Yeah, that's right.
Look,
That's the second my man in the last 5 minutes.
Listen, Russell
My
Westbrook.
man.
Look, you don't know, before they became the Thunder, the Supersonics were a big thing. Russell Westbrook is my favorite NBA player.
Really?
He'll never win a
He looks like
championship.
a Ninja Turtle.
He talks a lot of shit, which if you know anything about MASH talks more shit than anybody you'll ever meet in your life. And I
Are
play
you
a lot of
referring to yourself in
basketball.
the third person?
I play basketball and I talk a lot of shit. So I'm a little like Russell Westbrook without the talent. I'm just saying.
Gotcha.
So Brad says, as a Vol, you should have beat us
Brad says-
100%. Yes,
Yep.
Brad, we should
I
have.
agree with that.
I will tell you that myself and Jeff was at that game. I will have my wife post a picture that will stick with me forever of my daughter and I at that game on ESPN on literally the 40-yard line, maybe a row or
that's
two
awesome.
back. So great
That's a tough
experience.
loss.
Jeff, we're definitely going to have to bring you on more often because I like it when this show takes this App State slant because it's a great product that we put on the field and I can tell you right now,
Wisconsin slant. It's Wisconsin.
there is nothing going to be
baby. Throw 'em
better.
up.
There is nothing going to be better than going to Madison, Wisconsin when there is 4 of us all in the same tailgate spot having a great time and walking into that stadium wearing the black and gold, knowing what's about to happen. I will just tell you my side.
Bringing some backup, Jay.
I will-
If you think I'm not bringing some backup, Jay, you got another thing coming.
I will
Don't
just tell
worry,
you
there'll
what's
be-
going to
There'll
happen.
be plenty of Madison rep at our tailgate.
The
Don't
same
worry.
thing
It
the
won't
same
just
thing
be
that
me.
happens at Tennessee, the same exact thing that happened at Penn State. We play bigger teams, but I'm telling you right now, nobody is even close to being ready for the
They got
speed.
nothing.
Nobody is even close to being ready for the
All
speed.
right.
The speed that's going to hit Madison, Wisconsin in September is going to be amazing. Jeff, what's your parting shots that you have for us tonight? Because we're going to run over again tonight.
Look, I appreciate all you guys are doing. I mean, the beer talk is good. The philanthropy is even better. It's cool getting to listen to you guys and gals, and I just think it's cool that you guys are doing what you're doing, and I just enjoy being a small part of it.
Well, Jeff, it wouldn't be possible without you, to be honest with you. We definitely appreciate that support, and we've already taken the money that we've received and kind of pushed that forward. So, without you, none of it's possible, and we definitely look forward to drinking a beer with you. If not sooner, definitely in Madison, Wisconsin.
Can't wait, Jeff. I cannot wait.
Definitely
Jeff.
in Madison,
I cannot wait.
Wisconsin.
I cannot
The
wait.
first weekend of September.
Yes, sir. That's going to be a great day. Hey, that's going to be a day to remember up in Madison, Wisconsin. Jeff, we appreciate you for everything, brother, and have a good evening.
All right.
Cheers, Jeff.
Yes. Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. Appreciate you, Jeff.
It's lucky you're going to give me more shit. I'm almost done with my 13%er.
I'm almost done with my 5th beer. We gotta finish this episode. I'm about
Yes,
to be
sir.
out of here.
Yeah, I'm almost done.
Speaking of finishing, let's go out to Mash. He's going to give us a rundown of what's coming up in the coming weeks. Mash, what's coming up in these coming weeks?
Oh, guys, do we have some things for everybody? We have next Thursday. We've got Pyatt Brewing. They're teaming with the Idaho Rivers United to raise awareness for Idaho has a lot of great rivers, and any money that goes towards them is going to a great cause. So Pyatt Brewing, they do a lot. They were actually Idaho's first craft brewery to switch to cans. They do a lot of great things, as well as we have Bottle Share teaming with Mobcraft. They're doing a Believe in Beer collaboration, so they will be on next Thursday. A lot of great things there. The following week, we should potentially have a special guest we're not going to release quite yet, but we have, if you've ever, the following week after that, we have Dave Running with Beer, July 9th, July 16th. We've got Hot Culture Magazine, July 23rd. We have Baxter Brewing Company. And then July 30th, we've got Tripping with Animals. So we are booked through July.
No, tripping animals, not
Tripping Animals.
with
I'm sorry. I'm on my.
Although if you look at their labels, it looks like you are tripping with animals, but it's
I'm
tripping
at the
animals.
end of my 5th beer. So next week, be here, 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Share us, like us. We have Pyatt Brewing, followed by Mobcraft and Bottle Share.
Hey, I'm just going to say one thing real quick. 45-10 Miami. You are correct. The running back for App State that was picked in the 4th round of the NFL draft that's now with the Tennessee Titans was taken out in the first quarter. So just remember that.
So you got an excuse is what you're saying?
Yes.
I'm saying there's only one reason why they won that game, and that was because of that. And it was on a terrible call.
On that note, terrible calls, I'm going to pour this next beer into my turnover chain glass. Because
that is horrible. Now that we're down in Florida.
Did you watch the 2002 National Championship game? You're going to talk about bad calls?
2002. Hoppy, how can people find you if they really, really want to be disappointed?
Untapped and Instagram, the Hoppy Mommy.
This has gotten nasty.
Yeah.
This has gotten nasty, just so we all know.
Hoppy, what are you drinking there?
I'm actually drinking a beer you sent me, Roots. It's ginger, turmeric, and lemongrass.
Oh,
it's very
Talk
good.
Shit about it. Talk shit about it right now, Hoppy.
Talk shit about the beer?
Hoppy, we're going to come back and get your first take on that. Let's go to Lucky. Lucky's still got the nipple on this thing that he's drinking. Lucky, what are you drinking up there?
Oh my God.
He's casually sipping. Guys.
You can't say that. I've got 2 here from.
He tried to talk all the shit.
I've got 2 from Mobcraft coming up. If you guys want to join the Patreon quick, I Mobcraft this weekend. I'm gonna pick up some more. Make sure that I have it. You guys got. I believe you got Moo Brew and Batshit Crazy.
Nice.
My 2 favorites from there. But these are. This one right here, I've never had before. He threw, was working with, threw it in, and it's Rabbit's Bounty Carrot Cake Ale. It's absolutely delicious. If you guys want any of them, join the Patreon movement, and I'll try to get it out this week.
Nice.
That's awesome. Hey, this guy's putting it out there, man. That is a great brewery that we're going to talk a little bit more about what they're doing. Next Thursday, so he will get you the beer.
I love them.
Yeah, Lucky has access to their beer up there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and he can definitely get them. Let's go back down to Hoppy and get her first take on that cider she's drinking. Hoppy, don't hold the prejudice. I know I've given you a hard time. What do you think about the cider?
Honestly, I'm shocked to see it's 5% because, I'm not a cider fan. I usually don't like ciders, but this isn't overly sweet. So I can drink this, but to me, it doesn't taste like beer. It's like a cold tea. I don't know.
It's a cider. It's not a beer.
Same thing.
I don't drink ciders.
That's awesome.
But this is good, though.
It's pretty good.
It's interesting, though, that this is a higher ABV than the IPA that I had at the beginning of this.
Yep, definitely is. And let's finish it out back here at the group. Another great episode. Don't forget, MASH, post up the joining link there for the Patreons for the Hops News family. That's where you can join the craziness that goes on in that group. Be a part of those.
I think I have that. I'll share that.
Yep. Be a part of those collaboration conversations that's going on. That's going to be interesting. I will tell you that hit us a lot faster than we anticipated. Kind of a lot like everything. And I will tell you, there's only 4 more of the Sip of Sunshine levels left. They go quick, and once they're gone, they're gone. There's not going to be anything more. Hoppy is. We're going to go back down to Florida because she's texting now.
I'm responding to Brad.
She had the bomber jackets up. We're going to give away those bomber jackets as soon as we get off. We'll let the winner of the bomber jackets know, and we'll be in touch with them to get those them. Hey guys, it's been a great one. We definitely appreciate everybody joining us again this evening.
Thank you, Jeff. I don't know that I said cheers, but man, that was awesome having him on. I want to do that more often.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's definitely having our family members on are going to be a big part of our episodes going forward to talk beer. We'll definitely get Jeff back on again and talk and share a little bit more about the beer he's drinking. But appreciate everybody that's watching. Thank you for your time. Hey, the other host and our family members, love you guys. Man, I know it's endless conversations from the sun up to the sun down, and it takes a lot to get this show promoted on a weekly basis, but definitely appreciate everybody's support. Cheers. Till next Thursday. Join us, follow us, share us, tag your friends. Have a good night.
Peace.
Bye.